Alrighty. We are good to go. I expect these streams to be a lot less popular than the normal streams that I do, because these are all coding and programming and whatnot. But you know what? For an hour a week so far is the current plan. Every Saturday we have our Pine scripting streams, and man, I do enjoy these. I really look forward to these every week. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do some updates to this code here. We were working on this code in the last stream, and I did that very first stream on the Boss Benchmarks YouTube channel. I decided to move the stream, the programming stream, over to Plan the Profit, simply because there's not a whole lot of people watching in the first place, and I want to get eyes on the stream. Hey, Tone. Yeah, I do. You definitely be interested in this, Tone. Yeah, man. Oh, man. Yeah, this is going to be mostly a lot of basic Pine scripting stuff, right? But we're also doing, well, at least I'm also now doing the PineScript mentorship stuff. And there's going to be some free material in the WAP. A lot of productivity stuff, right? A lot of people don't know that, for example, this editor is from VS Code, right? So you have the command palette up here on the top. And if I could just get my Epic pen. Having the highlighting tool on the Epic pen is actually kind of useful here for illustrating the point. But I'm gonna zoom out real quick. This vertical line here on the right, we can do line wraps, right? Wrap, toggle word wrap. Yeah, so you can do word wrapping. So if a line goes off into infinity, you can still wrap it around and still see what's going on and stuff. But it's little tricks and productivity hacks like that that, man, are really, really helpful. Yeah. We are going to be building the trend cycle indicator. So many people over the years, like I've had this indicator for a long time, have asked me, hey, Joe, that looks like a pretty nice indicator, that little moving average thing. And it's kind of been a vanity project of mine, just to see, oh, how can I make a nice little indicator, a nice little centered moving average. And the reason why it's called a trend cycle is because it comes from a book on how to do seasonal analysis, and one of the things that they want to do is track the trend, the seasonal trend. And this measure, this centered moving average, is one of the measures that people use for aggregated seasonal analysis. So it's not just like, okay, this is just another moving average. Also, if you look up centered moving average, right, there's one here with 61 likes. Centered pivots, quad, you look for CMA maybe, and it's like, okay, CMA RSI, CMA CD, a colored moving average, common moving averages. It's like, dude, centered moving average. But this cycle, right? Trend cycler, Chef trend cycle, Chef trend cycle, Chef trend cycle, all this stuff around Chef trend cycle shows up. Let's see here. Chef trend cycle. Oh, also I got my Epic pen working. Yeah, now I have the little highlight around my mouse, so hopefully it'll be a little. Let's actually make that color like this. Yeah, that works much. That's a better color for this background. Yeah. Shaft trend cycle indicator. I mean, we can just slap it on the chart and see what we get. This guy actually built some really good stuff, but yeah, this is an oscillator. Okay. I think I need to turn down the music a tad. Yeah, I can see it in the mixer getting a bit up there. But yeah, we got the code here on the right. All we're doing is getting it up to snuff. This code hasn't been massively updated since like the early versions of PineScript v5, the late versions of PineScript v4. So we're just updating it to v6, right? Making it look nice. Also, we don't do this anymore with these things. Yeah, we can get rid of that. We get rid of that. We don't do the line wraps for that stuff anymore. Actually, if we follow the link here, this is the style guide, and right off the bat it says, hey, use camel case, function names fast, right? Put input at the end, constants are in snake case. Like very, very basic stuff. Don't get me wrong, everyone can read this on their own time, and they don't need a mentorship for style guide stuff. But for things that aren't here in the style guide or even in the PineScript documentation, very basic things for guys, you know, PineScript is the introduction for a lot of guys who get into programming. So, you know, for example, if I wanted to select all of these lines here, I could highlight like that. But because this is VS Code, I can just do Control L and just do Control L over and over again. I can then cut them, paste them like that, and oh, now this color settings thing right here, that is in the wrong place. I can do Alt up, move it into the right place, right? So that's not necessarily a PineScript thing, but enough people get into PineScript and don't know, you know, basic commands and shortcuts to not have to spend all their time, right? Like, look how fast that was. I wanted to add an extra T, so it's tool tips for all these constants, right? And now if I go down here, we have all these T's. I can then go Alt-click, click, 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 T. There we go. All the errors are gone now. Boom. Bunch of different ways to go about doing PineScript stuff. But a lot of it's, you know, basic editor things. A lot of the productivity stuff in PineScript is just basic editor hygiene stuff. So let's see here. Let's refresh all the streams, make sure everything is still good. But yeah, thank you for hopping into the stream, Tone Man. Absolutely appreciate it. All right, let's get to work here. Base color input. I just want to rechange these to change color toggle. And input. So we don't do this _I_ thing anymore. That's not the normal nomenclature. We do this stuff here with, right? Hey, MA show input to show it's an input. Bare color to show it's a color. You put if you need to differentiate the type and put that in the variable name for whatever reason, you just put that at the end of the variable. So all this stuff would be... Oh, and maybe I should explain. I'm doing Control-Shift, selecting the thing, selecting the variable name, and then Control-F to bring up the search. But you can also do Control-H, and it brings up the search and replace. So then you go bare color input, and then you do Alt-Control-Enter, and that replaces all the instances of that variable name. Same color, but I think there's another way of doing it. It's, if I recall, it's Control-D, right? I might be forgetting that one. I'm gonna be doing a review of all of those. Oh, hey, Firestart. Nice to see you. I'm gonna be doing a review of all the freaking shortcuts, because I could also use a refresher. Because Lord knows, I would also like to go faster. You know, when you're building indicators that are a couple thousand lines and it's a bunch of math, you want to be able to move around quickly and stuff. Nice to see you, Firestart. Absolutely. Yeah, this is the best stream on. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the hype boost. Open session. But actually, that's a bool toggle. I like to do this thing, right? I know over here in the style guide it says, hey, you know, if it's an input, make it input, right? But when it's a bool input, I like to use the word toggle instead of input. But that's me personally, right? So maybe for you, you just keep this as input, right? But personally, when in my specific case, when I have an input bool, I like to explicitly say that this is a toggle at the end. This is the open session toggle. And that kind of implies that, okay, that is the variable where the switch is to turn the thing off and on. And that implies that it's a Boolean. That's just open session and then color input. Otherwise, this toggle would then say bool input, like this says color input, right? So that's that. We did. Oh, we got a few more here, right? MA look back, right? So let's just say MA look. Generally speaking, I just call these things look back input. And then this is auto center input. Actually, that's the toggle. And this is the centered moving average look back. So CMA look back. So let's actually make that MA look back input, because we technically have two look backs here. So oh, yep, that's one issue. All right, CMA. Let's do this. MA back input, and then CMA back. All right, cool, nice and clean. All right, that all makes sense. Yeah, man. Glad to see you're here. What are you changing in PineScript? That is, you know, you're already in the trading group, Tone. I have to make it clear that when guys are in the trading group, they get some preferential treatment because they're technically already paying me some money. So don't get me wrong, it's for technically a different service, but I'm trying to incentivize, like, hey, there are going to be a lot of good reasons for just being in the trading group. I kind of want the trading group to be kind of like the Costco card, at least for my services, right? So right now you're in the trading group, you're all good, right? You're all set at the moment. I'll let you know if I need you to pay for my time, right? If I'm explicitly like very, very busy, like, you know, let's say the thing blows up and whatnot, right? Yeah. That reminds me, I need to switch to yearly. Yeah. You can actually save a lot, a decent amount. I think it's like a couple months of subscription if you do switch to yearly. Because it's, let's see, $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year if you're doing monthly. I'm pretty sure it cuts off, the yearly takes off 2 months of that, so it's $1,000, right? But yeah, the guys in the trading group get some preferential treatment when it comes to getting PineScript help. That's for sure. Oh, we got another input here. Open session. Yeah, here's one thing. You can copy paste that. Go to the end there. Input. Less typing. right? The less typing you can do, the better. All right, cool. All that is good and good. Let's save that progress because we just rewrote all the basic words for this stuff. Now, I am importing a library here, right? This is the style library that I created not that long ago. And I've done some updates to it, and I was like, dude, there must be some bugginess or something going on here. So maybe here in another tab, because I have to go to my tickets in TradingView. Let's see here, support tickets, received. Yeah, so this is the scenario here. This is what's the current problem that we were dealing with in the last trading stream. Right? I had to describe, okay, there was a huge problem. I gave them some PineScript actually to fix the bug. Let's see here if I can bring up the script. Let's see here. I believe it's style. Yeah, style library plot style issue. And then I can copy that, correct? Copy. Alright. Just waiting for the indicator to load here so I can copy it. And then we can actually review how I formatted this bug report here. And so TradingView said, hey, thanks for escalating the issue. Thanks for the update. And then TradingView said, okay, we've confirmed this is a bug. We're going to fix it. And that was March 4th. And I sent them a message a few days later saying, hey, not a problem. Thanks for letting me know that they're working on it. I just hope it doesn't take them like a month to fix it. Because this is like a small little thing, I definitely would like this fixed in, in a somewhat timely fashion, right? I was hoping that they would fix it by the time this stream started, so then I could demo, like, here's how we're gonna use the PineScript library to do all of our code, and have all this backlog code put into a library, so then we don't have to deal with any of these functions here, and here's the code, so then you can use it too for all your styling stuff. And yeah, nope, not gonna happen here. Let's see here. This was style library plot style issue. Okay, yeah, so everything's good on that front. So now I can just copy the indicator and then paste it here, right? So I can actually demo what the issue is. If we hide the chart, see how one of these is a step line and one of these is just a regular old flat line? If we go here, open a new tab, and then bring that sucker, bring the sucker over here, right? All right, cool. And can I actually move these two windows together again? No, apparently not. All right, we'll leave it like that. So this is the bug report that I sent to TradingView. I was like, hey, we have all this code, right, from our library, right? We can go and view the source code in this library. I was like, hey, there's this function here, and thank God everything's in alphabetical order. So we have this function here, plot style, right? And it outputs a plot, built-in plot variable. When we go and we call this, right? We go and we call it, Right there. This is our library plot style now. Cool. We go ahead and we throw that into the drawing, and actually over here, data window. It'd be a little, maybe I can find another way of visualizing this. Essentially, actually, yeah, I can. If I do something like color, and then we can make this one color dot blue, and this one color dot red. There you go. So if you just use that function as normal, also we're gonna do this, tab, display size, there we go. Yeah. If you just use that function that's in the library, here in the global scope, it works fine. But if you don't change any of the code and you just put it into a library and call it from a library, it somehow breaks, right? So this is the library call here in blue. And here is the global call built into the script, which is in red. So this was just the little demo script that I sent over to them. Like, hey, here's the exact case of what I found breaking, right? I don't go and copy paste my whole indicator and send that over to TradingView, right? Then someone at TradingView is gonna have to look over my stuff and be like, okay, what is this guy doing in this indicator? Is he actually breaking something that we don't know that's actually breaking? So if the more components that you can remove from your indicator and isolate into just a little bug report thing like this, and also that's just kind of helpful. I said, hey, here's the issue that I'm having at the top. Here's the exact variable I'm looking at, and here's the expected behavior I'm thinking it should happen. Here's another way where I'm getting the expected behavior, right? So this is just, don't get me wrong, this is not a huge deal. This isn't like something that's totally game breaking or that's mission critical for PineScript or TradingView, right? It's just, this is a little thing that's like, okay, the expected behavior isn't working here. We'll look at it and try and get it done, right? But getting used to, when you run into problems like this, being able to put it together in a nice little package so that then when you try and convey your problem to other people, they actually know how to fix it, is really important to actually getting things done in a, frankly, a timely manner, right? If you actually want your problem fixed, put the effort in to, well, get your problem fixed, right? And then I really don't know what's causing the issue, because the primary issue is that this thing is compiling totally fine. It's not giving the correct expected result, and it's also giving no errors. That's one of the signs that it's not you who made the problem, is when you've done everything correct and you've double and triple checked everything, and then you still don't see errors in the console here. That's when, yeah. That's when it's like, okay, maybe I just need to make an issue and be told, okay, you're obviously missing something obvious, right? It's totally fine to be told, hey, there's something you just don't know. Here's the thing to fix it, right? Get into communication with the people who know how to fix stuff. Also, this is kind of interesting. This is old. Jalen B, PineScript v5 syntax highlighting snippet for VS Code extension. Oh man, I'm so glad we don't have to. I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that anymore. As much as that PineScript extension was great and useful at the time, I'm glad we have something that's now, built into PineScript. Oh wow, look, that fits exactly right there. Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna do this. So this is how I do my versioning. PineScript update, major update, minor update. So if there's a bug fix, I just change the last number here If it's a new feature, but there's no PineScript update, I change the middle number. And if there's a huge PineScript update and I have to update the indicator and I also decide to add some features, I just update the PineScript number and I reset these two to 0. And that's how I keep track of my versioning. I put the PineScript version as like the most important thing. So that controls the version of what script I'm actually running on. But I don't use versions like, oh man, did you get V4 of my latest script? Like, make it if you want to actually make your versioning cool, make it practical and actually mean something technical that actually you can use. Because versioning for versioning's sake doesn't make too much. Versioning for marketing's sake doesn't make too much sense. Okay. Let's keep this going. One thing you can do is this. I know some guys talk about this a lot, going and explicitly declaring your strings, and how annoying that sometimes is. Personally, I like to do it. Right? Also, I'm gonna do this just to fix all of. Let's also do that. That is gonna be tricky. Should have probably done that before doing all these things. So how about this? Set these all back to T underscore, and then T underscore becomes TT underscore. Ah, fixed it. That was a cheeky way of fixing it, but it's a way. And I know, again, people are like, no, Joe, why are you doing this with the strings, right? It's just explicitly typing stuff is good habit, in my opinion, and it's a good habit for me. Because again, when you're dealing with, indicators that have hundreds of inputs, it's useful when you can go and look at the input and then you have this big bright highlight that says, hey, this is a string, right? And then it just mentally goes into your brain, into your subconscious. You're like, okay, where's all my string functions and whatnot to manipulate the thing that I want to manipulate? We also don't need this. We should probably just fix all this formatting here. Before PineScript had regions, they had this format here. And I don't know if you can see that clearly. This should be easier to see it. Before PineScript had regions, and if you don't know what that is, that's # region, and then end region. And if I say hello world in here, right, this is a collapsible region. And that's actually fairly new compared to this, right? Hello. This is also a collapsible region, but it's a different shorthand, right? And this has been around for a very, very, very long time. And this is how we used to do regions and groups. We'd have these big fat lines, a constants, and then this curly bracket. And then there'd be a closing curly bracket way down where. But now we don't do this. We don't do that at all. Or at least it really shouldn't be done that way anymore. Let's see here. Or at least when it comes down to other things going on, right? So let's see, region style guide, region end. There we go. Now all the style guide stuff is collapsible. Cool. Constants, and then way down here we have the end of our constants. End. Now, generally speaking, these regions are very well established in the style guide. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. You can see script organization. We're already here. It goes license, version, declaration statement, import statements, constants, inputs, functions, calculations, strategy, visuals, alerts. And this is how I structure my code as well. And this is how I try and teach people, right? Because so if this is the style guide, the official style guide, we try and follow what the style guide says. You know, not always to a T, right? I mean, look how I've bent the rules already with saying, hey, instead of input for the bool inputs, I use toggle, right? Like having little quirks like that is all well and good. It's all fine. It's not going to be the end of the world, you know? Especially if now I don't have to write bool input, right? But for general things like this that have been around for a long time now in a lot of scripts that are very well written and are very nice to read and look at and do some really cool stuff. Generally speaking, this is where the meat and potatoes are, right? Constants, inputs, functions, calcs, strategy, visuals, alerts. So let's go into our indicator here and do some of that. One thing I also like to do is make extra regions for and region for groups and tooltips. So region tooltips, and then way down here and region. Right now we can collapse all the tooltips, collapse all the regions, or if we just want the tooltips, we can see them here, right? Then we have style, these little comments here, right? So it's just like, yeah. And then we can actually put moving average settings up here, right? Nice. Let's hit save. And I'm pretty sure we are going to have some stuff that's somewhat broken, right? As far as these collapsibles go. So let's see here. I'm pretty sure we don't need this here. Let me see, where is it being used? Right there, all right. So let's actually put the library to good use here. So let's do sty, open session, and then put dot enum, default val. And I believe this is sty dot, and we want line style. So this is going to be line dot, right? Line dot, line enum dot. All right, and the default is going to be solid. Cool. And then we have title. And then we could say, so current session line style. Is there another way we can write that out? Maybe latest print? Or what does TradingView call it? If we actually check the Pine script for it. Bar state is last is real time. Okay, so let's do real time line style. Real time bar. Or rather, let's just do latest. Latest bar line style. Good. And see here in input string how it says, okay, options, line style solid, line style dash, line style dotted. Also, let's get the overlay here. That was kind of cool, yeah. And then we have tooltips, TT, current session. We actually do want that over here, right? Tooltips, group, and then G style, because we have that set up. All right, so that input's technically done. That would be sty dot line, that's the type. So this is an imported type from a library, right? Sty dot, the Sty library that we imported way up here at the very beginning. And by the way, you guys can import this too. This is free and open source one. You can't use it in private invite only indicators, I think. I don't think you can use this in like private published indicators. Not too sure. Yo, Omar, nice to see you. Gonna drop, brother. Good chatting. Thank you for hanging out, Tone. Thank you for coming in. Hello, Harold. Yeah, this is a much different stream than most streams every day. But you know what? I really look forward to these streams. I really do enjoy, programming in PineScript. I've been doing it for so long now, man. I've been programming mostly PineScript for a good while now. I'm pretty solid at it. Also, I think, yeah, we're still gonna need these plots. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I know how to fix that. Do plot underscore, that should fix that. We had an extra T in there from a find replace. That was a bit too intrusive. All right, let's continue with this region stuff here. One thing I do prefer to do is actually have enums have their own region. So region enum or enum enumerations, right? And region. And are we still using this technically? Let's see here. Line style plot. I'm pretty sure that so long, yeah, we're not using this at all, so we can just delete all this. Cool. So we don't need any of these things here, and we're going to be getting rid of that line style solid stuff. I'm pretty sure we can actually still do options in enum, right? Or is that a no-no? Yeah, options, right? A list of options to choose from optional. By default, the titles of all the enum fields are available in the dropdown. Passing a tuple as the options argument limits the list to only the included fields. So if we do line dot and new and we check out the style, you can see how it has access to all these styles: solid, dotted, dashed, left, right, both. Most people, they don't want probably an arrow to the left or both, so we're gonna put solid, dotted, dashed, and arrow right as options here. And just as confirmation, what's the order here? So it's title options. Okay, so options, and this would be sty.enum.solid, sty.line enum dot, I believe, dashed, right? And then dot, right? So let's do something like this to make it go a little faster. These next two, then dotted, and what is the enum? So sty dot line enum dot arrow right. All right, cool. Arrow right. Cool. And now we're getting some errors there because we deleted those built-ins, which is all well and good. But we need to actually update this. This is going to be sty.line style, I believe. Do we not have line style here in the code for the library? maybe it's just line. Yeah, it's just line. So then we have to do sky open, right? That's the correct one. Yeah, that's the correct one. And now we can delete this input. Hit save, cross your fingers, any bugs. Yep, we got one bug here. Syntax error and a line without continuation. Oh, right. Yeah, there we go. This is why line wrapping isn't the best, because I couldn't even tell that was line wrapped unless you noticed the change there in the line numbers here that go up and down, right? So now let's hit save. And, oh, we still have stuff here using these. We don't need these functions anymore. We don't talk about room. Oh. Alrighty, so now we have something that looks a little different. Oh yeah, that still looks fine. We just set the latest bar style to solid. Now if we do arrow right, and if we hide this, yeah, now you see we have an arrow pointing to the right now for the latest bar that's being drawn. One nice feature would be is if the bar is closed, if the bar is currently closed, to update the color to whatever the final thing is, because the reason why we use this orange color is if it's the current session, or well, instead of current, we'll use the word latest. Yeah, so we'll update some of the documentation. Yeah, reworking an indicator is a little different than building a brand new one. Oh, that's cap. Yeah, capitalized focus. All right. And we'll just change that to latest session line. Actually, I am kind of curious. That's a toggle, right? So if we turn that off, does that just get rid of the line? No. Let's just call that style. Latest session line style. Latest session toggle. So now instead of open session or whatever, we're just going to call it the latest session because we're going to be styling it differently based on some different rules here. Make a nice little indicator out of it. Latest session color input. Latest session line color. Is this a bool? Yeah. We're just gonna call that that. And real quick, find, copy, paste, and instead of open, we're gonna call it latest. Latest. Cool. Hit save. All's well. And everything still looks hunky-dory. Also, we're going to do this. All these are color inputs. Bool and color. Now, I really don't like the line wrapping personally. I know some people can kind of get into it, right? It kind of ticks me off a bit. So if I do this and then line, or wrap rather, wrap, that looks so much easier to see what I have and haven't changed. I usually don't mind going and scrolling over to the right. My one exception pretty much with having lines that go all the way out here, like this one, right? See this one that goes all the way out here? That can also be just as annoying, right? And it's in these situations where I will toggle on the wrap. So then I can easily get access to these ones, because the other way of very easily managing very long input lines is to do something like this, and this just makes the script very, very long to read, right? Especially if you're putting the huge tooltips right here in the tooltip parameter of the input, and it's like you got 2 paragraphs in here, right? Please, if you're writing very long tooltips, make a variable, a tooltip constant, and put it in here, right? Even for smaller ones, right? Now, don't get me wrong, this is actually a good situation where maybe getting rid of some of these tooltips would make sense, because variable names need to be conserved. The less variables you're using, generally the better. So how about this? Let's go ahead and remove some of these tooltips, right? Find me that. All right, cool. Paste, done. Now we have the tooltip bit in there, because we're not going to be using that tooltip anywhere else, and it's not super crazy long, right? And over here, color bool, paste, oh, paste, nice. And we're just bringing up some variables, because guess what? When you're building large scripts, there's a limit to how many variables you can have. So, you know, if you really need to save space sometimes on variables, this is kind of the way. This is one way. As another way is just being efficient with your loops. I don't. Oh man, isn't there a thing about the Balatro programmer and having pretty much the entire game in a huge if or switch statement? Balatro Balatro code program. I don't know. Let's see. Oh my god. Yeah, there it is, right? If self base value equals 2, then self base nominal equals 2, self base ID equals 2, and then on and on and on for all the card values, right? Like, bro, this is explicitly what an if, you know, this is explicitly what a loop is supposed to be for. Or better yet, you know, some kind of a map, right? This would be actually a really good use case for a map, right? You use these base values for your keys, and then these can be, you know, elements or arrays or whatever, however you intend to store it for your game, right? Like a map would actually be a pretty cool thing. But you know what, I really am of the mindset that when I look at this, I don't cringe. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, now that I know what I'm doing in most cases when I'm programming, right? When I look at this, I don't judge the guy. I don't judge him. I'm like, okay, cool. He built an awesome game, and he got it done the way he wanted to do it. And, you know, bad code be damned. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't do what I wanted it to do, what's kind of the point, right? And here I am kind of coding as like a relaxing thing, right? Like, okay, cool, we're just setting up our types explicitly on things that are already typed explicitly here anyways, because I just like the color of it, right? And just doesn't, like, okay, this is a nice chill programming stream where we code boss's way and we hang out and we try and get some good work done, right? And when it comes down to just general PineScript stuff, I try and talk about what I know, right? I mean, I'm sure that there's some guys who've been doing a lot of PineScript who might watch some of these streams and be like, huh, Joe, you know, that's interesting, but I do things a little bit different. Maybe you should try that out. And, you know, when I get that feedback, I'll try it out, right? I'll see how that works. Yeah, man. Oh my god. I just opened up another one of these articles, man. After selling 1 million copies, Balatro creator admits it's held together with hopes and dreams as game devs rally around the roguelike's beautifully nightmarish code. Yeah, dude, I don't... The guy built a great game, and Undertale is like that too, if I recall, right? Undertale... code... Oh man, if I recall. Yeah, all of Undertale's code is handled in one spaghetti code massive switch statement that takes thousands of lines. Oh. Oh man. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Well, at least the game shipped and got rich, right? Pretty much, yeah. Oh man, there's a particular story that I'm trying to recall the name of the character. I gotta find it now that I've started thinking about it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, Caiaphas Cain. That's it. Yeah, Caiaphas Cain. Yeah. It's like sometimes people have horrible intentions and try and do bad, very self-interested things is kind of the moral of the story. But they still end up with doing genuinely good, productive things for other people and society as like a, ultimately as not, as like a total net good. Caiaphas Cain, yeah. I don't think I want to play the whole video, but I'll go ahead and link it in the chat. Oh, that was text notifications on my end. Yeah, man, that video's hilarious. I'm kind of upset that that Warhammer studio, right? That the Warhammer guys said, "Oh, you can't make any more Emperor text-to-speech, man." That kind of sucks. That really sucks. Anyways, let's continue on here, right, with the simple things, right? And if we wrap it again, see how nice and clean that is. We don't need these anymore, because that's not how things are done nowadays. And we're gonna set this as our inputs region. So let's make the inputs region. All right, cool. Cool. And we can get rid of these, because we don't need those. Global constants, yeah, whatever. And we don't need these. Let's save for progress, because we've made pretty good progress so far. I do want the default to go back to dotted, because that's what we had before. And then we can set defaults, and now we have our dotted line again. Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. This is where the trend cycle stuff comes from. Forecasting principles and practices. Moving averages. Yeah, and it takes us right to the exact spot where this is. Right to the exact spot where all this is specified. Moving averages of moving averages, right? When a 2 MA follows a moving average of an even order, such as 4, it's called the centered moving average. And that's what we got. Other combinations of moving averages are also possible. For example, 3 by 3 is often used and considered a moving average of order 3, followed by another moving average of order 3. In general, an even ordered MA should always be followed by an even order MA to make it symmetric. And I believe that's what if I recall now, that's explicitly what I did here in the code for the auto center MA code, right? Yeah. And no, we didn't even make this a function. We just said, hey, here's our final variable, and here's a switch statement in the variable. We didn't even need a function for this. However, doing something along these lines, I do use this for this sort of stuff. So these curly braces for functions and long bits of code like this, I don't mind having these curly braces for these kinds of toggles. Like right here, see, FCMA. And then I believe, there we go. Now we have one for the plot style. So I like having these curly braces for functions and kind of these snippets of code here. So essentially whenever you go into a loop or a function, right, I try and do this just to give people optional collapsible views, because if you remove this, the default collapsible view puts the code right next to this other code. Like there's no blank space otherwise. So in order to ensure that there's this line, this blank line right here, that's why I do things that way. That way it's just a visual separation between, okay, I wanted to collapse this and start working on this. Just having that there is nice, especially when you're dealing with very fat functions. And let's see here. That's right. Or 30. That's right. Oh. There we go. And also, we don't need this underscore stuff anymore. Nobody does that underscore stuff. So let's just call this source. Actually, we can just do, yep, source. I believe that's good, right? Nothing broke. And then that can be look back. Ah, gotcha. So this is going to be actually MA back. And then this is going to be CMA back. And don't need to put anything there in that code. All right, cool. This actually returns it just returns the CMA, right? Oh, yeah. The series, float series, the series float of a centered average. There we go. And just to make sure, CMA. All right, so we can actually call this the CMA function. CMA. Yeah, all that works. Great. And we could make that a little easier to understand. Again, removing those underscores because we no longer need that. And these two can be floats. Oh, that's right. Specify these. That's a float. That's an int. It's an int. I mean, you can make this a method for fun if you wanted. Not a big deal. Calculates the centered moving average of a series float. The centered moving average of source. That is so long both the MA and the CMA lookbacks are set appropriate, right? Because again, if you look at our documentation over here, right, you didn't make sure that you have the right lookbacks for both of these, which is what this auto center is doing. So let's see here. Everything looks so far so good. We've made some good progress today. And this has been a pretty productive programming hour, I'd say. We got a decent amount done. And don't get me wrong, we kind of did screw around a little bit talking about like, hey, you know, it doesn't matter if you're writing terrible code if it gets the job done. However, I will say, generally speaking, if you are writing very inefficient code, it will negatively impact how you run things going on in the future. Here, give me just one moment here. We're not in the stream yet. I'm gonna go for like another 10 to 15 minutes, but I am on the thirsty side. I need to get some water. Alright, that was fast. I deleted those messages in the chat so then you guys can actually see your chats show up. Alright. So again, not crazy codes. Yeah, return 2 for even MAs, return 1 for odd MAs, or use custom input, right? Right, so when the auto center is off, it uses this here. So instead of calling it centered MA look back, we're gonna call it menu. Auto center MA look back. There we go. And let's actually change the group name here. T source. We actually don't need that tooltip there. So group centered. Settings. CMA. Hit save on that front. Yep. Save it again so nothing breaks. Click bars. A bar. Bars. Back. Used to calculate the moving average. All right. Nice. And then E. Delete that. And these are on the longer side of the latest. Color of the line on the latest bar. Or at this bar. There we go. Cool. Save that. Collapse that. Collapse the enumerations. Collapse the inputs. All right, now let's do this. Region functions. And region. And calculations. Region calculations. All right. And that goes down to here. So these are all the, let's see here, region. These are all of the things used for doing our general calculations and whatnot. Even the color, where we calculate the final color of the plot. And then this technically goes region drawings and region and then we can do that. Maybe there's a better way to do this stuff with the line. We'll check that out maybe in the next stream. But so far, so good. We can actually wrap to see more of this here. Oh yeah, so we're actually just overriding that. We're just doing new stuff. Yeah, so there is definitely a better way of doing this. This should actually be a if bar state dot is last, and then line dot set. And we don't need to do color, but we do need to do the. We can do chart points. with this. So we can do first point. That'd be preferable. And then second point. Alright, so these are for the lines of open session line. Right? And we're gonna do that as a bar here. Let's actually make that as a, yeah, we can just set it as an A. And then we can do an NA check here. If line NA, rather, open session line, go ahead and set it to become a new line, right? Create a new line here. End a line without continuation. Oh, are we doing something we're not supposed to be doing here? Let's check out the line wrap. Bum, ba, da, ba, bum. Nope, everything looks good here. Oh, latest session toggle, real quick. Ah, okay. And get rid of that. Oh, don't want that. Now we need the chart points here. So we need this dude. So that's bar index minus 1 here. So these things only need to be loaded if we're running this. So chart.point. And then let's call this, yeah, first point. Chart.point.new. And we're not using time here, but we'll just put time. That's our bar index, and then price is going to be this right here. And then we can do the same thing for second. We can also call this second line point. But because this indicator literally only has one line being drawn in it, I don't think we need to get any more specific with the variable names, frankly. Oh yeah, I could just deleted the subscript at the end to resolve that. And there we go. Okay. So first point, second point. So now the line will update when there's a new thing. When there's an update to stuff instead of creating a whole new line and whatnot. So we can delete all this and do our, what's the syntax here? First point, second point, right? First point, and then first point, second, oh, second point, second point, and we will, instead of line wrapping with the thing here, right? Now we can actually see this all the time, and I just sometimes prefer it this way. Right? Sometimes it's just easier to manually wrap your stuff like that, and there's no problem with wrapping it arbitrarily like that, just so long it looks good and so long we can actually get all the information. No problems. No problems. Oh, we had a typo there. First point. All right. Does it work on the first go? So far, so good. Now, it looks good at first impression, but now does it work in the replay mode? Yes, it does work in the replay mode. But real quick, I thought I saw it not print there. Yeah, look, it's not printing there. So it works there, doesn't work there, and then it works from every bar onwards. Okay, so what's going on there? Let's delete this and just check if it will update every bar. Nope. Okay. What we can do instead then is just initialize the line like so. With all these parameters, right? Just copy that over. All right. And we'll have that for now. I know we're kind of missing a setting here at the moment. Okay, now the line just isn't drawing. What's the deal? All right, setting that back. Go forward 1 disappears. Go forward 1 disappears, and then it comes back from those bars forward. All right. Well, I didn't change any of our code. Nothing has actually been changed as far as the math of the stuff. Oh, this is running on a bar state as last. Gotcha. Should this run every single update? I don't think so. I don't think it needs to run every single update. You'll see what I mean if I do something along these lines, right? So if I do something like this, that might fix the problem if I'm theoretically right. Let's see. Yeah, so the line comes back, and then initially it doesn't draw. Oh, it did it that time. Did it that time. Maybe the script just hadn't updated yet. Yeah, so this works just fine. And this is technically okay. Like, there's no problem with this. It's just, it's redrawing the line over the entire chart's history when you do it this way, which is kind of a no-no, right? Not that great of an idea. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't drawing because at the very first bar, this is bar index -1 here. So we can just do an if statement. Or a turner. Minus bar index equals 0. Just do bar index, and then otherwise do this. Let's see if that fixes it. Nope. We could kind of do the same thing over here. Again, I'm just kind of guessing that this is the problem. Yeah, no. Do. And this works just fine. I don't see a problem with this. Here's one thing that we can do. Oh no, look at that. It's not loading now. That's why it's very important to always check your stuff. Yeah, so it loads there. Doesn't, and it loads there, it loads there. Huh. Alright. So if the line doesn't exist, let's say, and let's just say bar index greater than 0. Alright, it loads and then it disappears. Oh, I have a guess. This is running every single time. Yeah, so last. That should fix it. No. Oh, actually, no. It's probably this delete, right? I totally forgot. That's the entire reason why we were writing this. It's that delete. Oh my god, I'm slapping my feet. Now it works. Now it works as expected. Oh my god, I totally forgot that delete was there the entire time. Oh my god. I was like, huh, why isn't this working? Maybe it's this quirky thing. Maybe it's that quirky thing. Nope. It's just I forgot that I was supposed to remove that line.delete. This is the entire reason why we did these set first and set second stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is. Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh, dude, that's so funny. Also, we could probably put the line stuff here in the if statement. If I'm being honest, we can try this out. Var if bar index greater than 0. Yeah. Last. Just guessing that this will work. And that should be very efficient. Let's see here. Pine logs help. What I want is the performance stuff. Yes, exit replay mode. Oh, is it up here? No? Is it up here? Nope. I wish I could get the performance stuff here on the side. Yeah, enable profile. Okay. Okay. And right here. Wow, just loading the chart point stakes. That's it, yeah. Look how fast it is to actually run the line draws, right? Look how fast it is to actually do the line draws. That's pretty good. It is increasing though. Yeah, see, 5%, 5.1%, 5.2. Yeah, it's steadily increasing quite quickly. Yeah, that's executing quite a lot, huh? I mean, we can change this to start state dash. Let's see. Is confirmed, is less confirmed history, is new, is real time. Oh, we'll probably use that is real time to put in that other feature I was talking about much earlier in the stream. But honestly, this ain't that bad, I think. Yeah, as the script goes on and on, most of the time for the computation is spent here. And here. And these are the actual centered moving average parts. Yeah. And we can probably put that also in the if statement as well to reduce it. We want, you know, no, we don't want that in the if statement. We want the CMA calculating on every bar. Okay. It's all well and good. I could be misinterpreting this profile, but I don't think I am. It's just a nice way of finding out, like, okay, what areas of the script are using the most computation? And it's the exact area we thought should have the most computation. And we have this condition right here as an FYI. We have this condition here. Oh. Actually, yeah, we do want it set up this way. We do want it to check if it's the first bar or not. We have it set up this way so that then it works on the very first bar. That just the indicator doesn't crash and it actually works. Again, it might not crash, it just might not work as intended unless, you know, I'm just setting an explicit case here for the very first bar is all. Which is all well and good and just generally decent practice. Alright. So now we have our drawings, right? So this is, let's say, line. Actually, we can put these chart points into our calculations. Chart points for line. Drawing. Latest session. Line. Latest session. Cool. Nice documentation. Lot of saves. So we got our inputs, we got our functions, our calculations. Oh, looks like we didn't quite catch that. There we go, remove that. And for now, we can just remove these things here. That should be fine, yes. And then drawings, and then down the road, might as well, slash, right? Region, alerts, and region. So we don't have any alerts right now. And really don't know what alerts we would want. Maybe like price crossing it, but considering that we have plots, I mean, we might want to do it considering the latest print here is a line. So if you go and you try and add an alert here for the trend cycle and do this crossing one, right? If you want to know on the current bar, are we crossing the current value? I'm not totally sure if that's all that helpful. You probably actually want to use the prior print, right? Because one of the reasons why I'm doing this drawing here is because this thing repaints. This part of the indicator will repaint. So as you get new information, just like all moving averages do this. But the longer the moving averages, the less you will actually notice the moving average repainting itself. So I'm adding this line drawing here to explicitly point out, like, hey, if we don't have all the data for this particular day here for this latest print, then this is what the line, the average would look like if the current close or whatever value is used as the final value for this series. Yeah, so I think alerts are probably gonna have to get set based off of this one off lagged value here, plot. And you can see the plot's offset by 1. That's why we actually have this here. So then we can get this line drawn. Yeah. Oh man, that was quite a productive session. We got a lot done. We've successfully organized things. We've organized things a lot better. That's for certain. Oh, that's what that was for, right? That's for the constants, right? So we have constants, enumerations, inputs. Style guide is just a little bonus, and then we got these guys up here. And these are other things we don't necessarily need to fill them out for this particular indicator. No need. And then we can save that and call that a very, very, very productive session. I'd say we did some refactoring of this trend cycle indicator here. Alrighty, and we made it look nice and pretty. Check that out. We can be proud of this. I think we can be proud of this. It'll be even cooler when we can use the style library properly. And we won't have this plot style function here anymore, right? We'll just have the indicators main function calculation stuff here. Let's say slope. Right. From. Get a little bit more explicit with the parameters, right? All well and good. But yeah, it would be nice to have the library version of this working instead of having it work. At least when we were able to try out the library functions, we were able to do this, right? Style, plot style, right? Also, that reminds me. we don't need to put sty in front of it. Just call it plot style. Plot style. But there's another one right here, right? Oh, that's right. This is broken, if I'm not mistaken. We do area here. Yeah, that's broken. Okay. We can fix that real quick. We get rid of that. We should get an error now. And we do this, and we do that. And now, things should work. So now if we go here, area break, right? Now we got our setup here. Yeah, check that out. Now we have all of our plotting styles working as expected. So we can do step line. Yeah, there we go. Now we have an actual drop down for our plot styles, right? Yeah, all good. And then line width, we probably need a plot width here, no? Int plot. And then default value is going to be 1 title. And then let's see here. Tooltip inline group is going to be, what is it? G style. And then display equals display dot none. Right? Did we already do that for all these other ones? Oh, no, we have. All right. We're going to do that real quick. Wrap. Okay. Guess the wrap doesn't work like that. Wrap. And display dot none. I'll show you guys what it does in a sec if you don't know what it does already. So if I go over here, settings, and I turn on arguments and values here under status line, see how it shows, hey, here's the indicator's name, close. Here, I'll just do this little highlighting, right? See the mouse? Trend cycle 1.0.0, close, 4, 2, step line, dotted, 2. It's reading off these settings here in the title, in the arguments, right? So if I go back into the chart settings in the indicators status line, that's what this is. That's what these display.nuns are doing. When I hit save, it should get rid of some of these. Yeah, see, it got rid of some of them. Now we have step line dotted 2 left. So I have a practice of making sure it says display.none on all of these, because if you have, again, an indicator with a ton of settings, like, you're gonna have this huge sprawling mess of inputs across the screen. And it's even worse on mobile if you let that happen. All right. Then display equals display dot. Cool. We can hit save on that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be all of them, if I'm not mistaken. No, we still got one. Yeah, right there. Display dot. And that last one should be gone. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a nice clean thing. And also, when you pull it out on your phone, you're not going to have these huge sprawling texts show up. Yeah. Now it just shows you the value of the standard moving average. Right? Okay, you guys. I am pretty much done with this project for now. Streamed for a little while longer. Got some good work done here, I'd say. We got some very, very good work done on the stream. And we went a little bit longer than, you know, the initial programming hour, but we got some good momentum and we got some good lessons, I'd say, for this particular stream. It was a nice refactoring stream for an old indicator that needed some. Alrighty, you guys, thank you very much for watching, for the guys who have hung around and for the guys who did watch. I know this isn't my regular content with trading and whatnot, but hopefully in sharing some guides here on some PineScript and doing some open source programming and releasing some indicators and some libraries for you guys who are your own programmers there on TradingView, you know, we can have something cool here as far as programming streams go, right? We have some cool discussions. Ah, man, it'll be cool when we get some, like a small little group of guys who are Pine coders, and we have like our own little weekly get together, our own little weekly stream. Get a little bit of programming done on some open source stuff and kind of talk about our projects. Talk about also maybe some of the difficulties, some of the issues that we're running into, and, you know, maybe find ways of overcoming. Alrighty, guys. I will see you all in a bit.